Yep.
Coming up next, we got Nalguidan versus Purple. This is just this is what I want to see, man. Every match you kind of have some playoff implications and drama. This time we have Purple on the Bomb Warrior and Nalguidan on the Burgle Rogue. So this is going to be a matchup that should favor Purple on paper. Nalguidan, he is playing the Spear of the Shark, Heist Baron Togwoggle package, but looks like he accounted more for Mage in the final week, which isn't necessarily a poor idea whatsoever, given that we do have 5 mages this weekend. However, in his primary deck, it's not going to get there. So I think he's going to look for his tertiary deck to try and shut down the Warrior.
Yeah, it's he made a call this week, and I honestly like the call. Going with the additional mechs right off the bat gives him more flexibility with that secondary deck to add in the War Gears. And then having the Fairy Dragons means that in his primary deck, he is at least somewhat favored against or somewhat even more favored against Mage decks. So it's kind of an interesting take on the primary deck, and it kind of reminds me in some ways of like the Warrior deck that Frozen and Dog brought, where he kind of teched it to be okay against everything, right? He has Fairy Dragons for Mage, he has the additional like tempo mechs against Warrior, and then he's just got the normal rogue stuff in case there's everything else. And Purple, on the other hand, he's playing a pretty straightforward Bomb Warrior deck. He does have Arcalyptus Elysiana main deck because he knows that there's bound to be some Warriors in the field. And I think this is the very, very similar to the deck that we just saw from Zalay. I think the primary deck is exactly the same. The difference comes from the tertiary deck, where Purple has decided to include a Tinkmaster Overspark, and unfortunately it probably won't be used in this matchup, but I love the thinking behind it.
Yeah, well, it stops his opponent from having a Mechathune play.
Yeah,
so Purple versus Race, he can't play Mechathune package. Tinkmaster Overspark just literally makes him auto lose.
Yeah, he has to play Undertaker first and then stick Mechathune later. It pretty much makes it nullifies most of it. It makes him have to do something very creative. So I like the inclusion.
It is very ingenious, if you will. Looks like we're getting ready to set up for the next match here. Hope you guys have enjoyed all of it so far. If you're missing any of the standings, I know some people were tweeting at me asking, like, how do I see scores or deck lists or schedule and whatnot? Just go to playhearthstone.com/esports, and the schedule will lay out everything, including their deck list and the class matchups, as well as their individual matchups, so that you could see their history. Like, for example, how many times did Nalguidan and Purple play throughout the course of the seasons? They played one time, who won last time, etc.
Yeah, it's last year the Play Hearthstone Esports section of the website did leave quite a bit to be desired, but they really leveled up this year.
As in, it didn't really exist.
It didn't. Yeah, there was some format and some rules on the webpage, but that was it.
Right.
Now you can even go back and look at their previous matchups and watch the VODs right in the website, and look at the deck list, primary, tertiary, and secondary for all the specialist matchups.
Job well done by the publishing team.
Yeah, and as well as tiebreakers. They're right on the website.
I don't know about that one, TJ. I think we need an entire website dedicated to tiebreaker. What's my Hearthstone GM? Tiebreaker.com.
And it doesn't even show you a number. It just shows you.
It redirects you to another site.
Am I currently qualified for playoffs? Yes. Am I currently qualified for playoffs? No. It's just
it should be like, what's my HSGM tiebreaker.com, and it just redirects you to like a website that says, nah, probably not.
Well, let's get
or
into it.
It directs you to the Nice Meme website where it goes, Nice Meme.
Yeah. Because of Race's loss to Zalay, this is not a must-win for Purple. It effectively will come down to their head-to-head, no matter which way you slice it. If Purple wins, or if he loses, he still has to beat Race in their matchup tomorrow in order to qualify for playoffs. If he loses, he goes to 7-6. He's tied with Race, and then if he would have to beat Race tomorrow to have the record advantage. If he wins tomorrow, he still has to beat Race, because if Race beats him, then they're tied still, and Race would have the head-to-head edge over him. So
yes.
Kind of a weird situation, but one that I'm sure Purple's aware of.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But a W here would definitely be nice.
Yes.
500 disguises.
Buckaroos.
One to 7 agent. No 3-man in play for Purple. A pass. He does pick up Dr. Boom Mad Genius, though. That is extremely crucial for his success. I've seen a few warriors in my lifetime, TJ, try to take on the armies of Valero Sanguinar. And without Dr. Boom Mad Genius, and many of them failed.
What about Maev?
Well, Maev is strictly for Quest Rogue, and I have seen every warrior die to that. To be very fair. I wonder actually what kind of world we'd live in if Quest Rogue existed against Bomb Warrior, because Bomb Warrior actually does have an aggressive game plan versus the Warriors really did not prior to Bomb Warrior.
A format that I've always wanted to see would be like a Decks of All Time format.
That would be interesting. Maybe you could even separate them based off rotation years, and some of them are playable based off of an eternal format, and others would be played only by the past 2 years of expansions.
Wow, Dan.
Sounds pretty
Sounds
interesting.
juicy.
Sounds
And
crazy. Some would even call it.
Well, no, because Wild is every card that's ever been released in one format. I'm talking about decks that a restricted format where you can only play decks from a certain era. And yes, you could do that in Wild.
Oh, so the equivalent of Modern in Hearthstone.
Yes, but playing against decks that are current. For instance, like the mid-range Shaman, you can't put in cards that are in the game now.
Wait, what? You can't put in cards that are in the game now?
No, like you would play decks that were good in their time versus decks that are good now. But the decks that were good in their time can't
so
put
the Hall of Champions Tavern Brawl.
The Hall of Champions Tavern Brawl, but not restricted in the sense that you're only playing decks that World Champions won with.
Yeah, so there are other formats in different card games. As we approach this turn 4, by the way, with Nalguidan probably weighing if he wants to play Shark, but recognizes that Dynamatics, I think, so avoiding it. Funny that he picks up French Caliber of all cards. Dude, I think we've been seeing Bomb Warrior get Bomb Warriored a lot this weekend so far.
We have.
But there's another format in other card games called that utilizes like a time period, which is like any card released after X year you can play in. And some people call it like Modern, for example. So for us, you could say like when Standard was released, you could consider that to be a modern period because that was an entire divide of design philosophy. Hearthstone prior to Whispers of the Old Gods, because that was the first introduction of rotation of Year of the Kraken, would be like everything was designed with Hearthstone as a whole piece, but then when you start designing for Whispers of the Old Gods onwards, things are designed in set pieces. So you could say, hypothetically, of equivalent of Hearthstone Modern would be Whispers of the Old God, which many consider to be one of the best expansions of Hearthstone history, all the way till now. Is that what you're saying?
No.
You're saying you just want to see old classic good Miracle Rogue versus old classic good Patron Warrior versus old good classic Quest.
I'll simplify it down to what you said, which is the Hall of Champions Tavern Brawl, but expanded slightly to be played decks that were all-encompassing in the individual meta games that the World Champions won in. Yeah, like Patron Warrior versus Bomb Warrior. Who would win?
Double snap coming down here on the board. Just to
imagine Warpath interacting with a patron board. Like that is nonsense.
Or Defile.
Or Defile.
Because with patron boards there's always a Defile.
There's gotta be a Defile here.
There's gotta be a double snap too. Very powerful play here by Nalguidan to cement his board position. He doesn't have I mean he like we're saying, he's basically playing Bomb Warrior, right? He's played Zilliax, double snap and French Caliber.
Yeah.
You tell me who's the Bomb Warrior.
Yeah, and he even has like Leroy Jacobs to follow this up for additional points of damage, and there's no silence in Purple Stack. There's also no weapon removal in Purple Stack. So this is a significant amount of damage being pushed by Nalguidan that Purple's going to have a tough time like making back. He can Dr. Boom Mad Genius to make back the 7 attack, but he's taking it again.
I think you're okay with taking it again, but it definitely doesn't feel that good because the alternative right now is the Brawl.
He can clear the Ziliax if he Dr. Boom Mad Geniuses, Wrench Calibers into the Divine Shield.
Oh, you want to take the 7 there too.
Yeah. You're taking the 7 no matter what in the clear. I guess it's more efficient to break the Divine Shield with the first Snip Snap than attack and trade in with 3 of the 4 1-1s, 3 of the 4 Microbots that you get.
You have 2 brawls though.
You do have 2 brawls, and that would also leave 4 1-1s on your opponent's side of the board that you wouldn't be dealing with. Or 3 1-1s if you trade them with the Snip Snap first, which I guess would be more efficient.
Right.
It does get the Dr. Boom Mad Genius mana out of the way, but there's also a Shield Slam in hand, so he could go for Brawl this turn, then next turn Dr. Boom Mad Genius Shield Slam, potentially a higher priority target.
I like that.
Unity. Precision.
Or he could do this, which is trade in Snip Snap, take the damage from the Wrench Caliber, and use Ziliax to trade in.
So I guess his logic is that he can make up the health difference, and this sets up the taunt so that Wrench Caliber can't attack face, and also still keeps his hand for Dr. Boom Mad Genius with Shield Slam. Tricky turn. I think you can make a case for all those plays, but this is probably the most consistently good play that helps him have a board presence.
Yeah, this is the most guaranteed board presence. It does kind of like isolate his Brawl a little bit, or hit both of his Brawls, which are going to be tough to use from now on. But Brawl had a chance to go horribly wrong if the Ziliax Snip Snap thing lives.
Full cost Vendetta. Nightmare Amalgam. So I played a little bit of Nalguidan's Burgle Rogue list on ladder, and the Nightmare Amalgam I was just very confused about. And then I played Snip Snap on it, and I was like, wow, this is pretty awesome.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's the only thing you can magnetize Snip Snap on that's in the deck.
Yeah, it was very confusing for like half a second where I was just like, okay. But what I found out it does is that, one, it challenges removal from your opponent on a really early turn that's hard for them to deal with. So if your opponent plays a Clockwork Goblin, or they play like Stargazer Luna, or like Sorcerer's Apprentice, it's just hard for them to deal with the 3/4 efficiently without having to use extra cards.
Yeah.
And then it lets you get that Snip Snap, and it shores up actually a very awkward point of the Rogue curve, because the thing about the Burgle Rogue is that sometimes you don't really play anything because you're just holding combo-centric cards. You have like Miscreant or SS7 Agent, or like Spirit of the Shark. It's like all these cards require something else. So having the Nightmare Amalgam gives them something to play on curve. That said, I don't think it's the best inclusion of all time. I just think it's a really interesting and cute tech.
Ooh.
Witchy Lackey. Alright.
Yeah, Witchy Lackey here has the potential for Nalguidan to allow his Spirit of the Shark to dodge.
Oh, another Spirit.
Whoa.
Another one. Nalguidan's like, all right. You know, it actually works out with the infinite treasure chains. But, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Next turn, if this Lackey survives, you can play High Spirit and Togwaggle, and then the treasure, and he summons 3/3.
Yeah. Purple's like, huh. How am I supposed to deal with this? You have a Brawl, but...
Okay, then.
Yeah, both of these situations, or both of these Spirits surviving can be quite annoying. The Spirit of the Tiger is a lot less threatening. Spirit Shark survived! That's really bad news.
Double treasure time for Nalguidan. In fact, you're probably going Evil Cable Rat Lackey plus double treasure. You couldn't play the treasure anyway this turn.
It's a world of difference. What looked like to be a potential victory here for Purple is now starting to even up a lot.
Yeah.
Pickpocket. I like a pickpocket. He picks the backstab. He says, you know what? I'm probably going to pick up too many cards anyways. Ooh, Togwaggle Scheme. But if he's going to play Togwaggle right now, he doesn't really get the benefit of using it on the Togwaggle High Spirit. I guess it makes sense to pick the backstab because his hand's going to be full anyway, so he picks one just one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Choose soon.
I just see greed options and my eyes light up.
I've seen a lot of players get punished for being too greedy with this rogue deck. Now, purple forced to kind of play a control role, but picking up a lot of like proactive tools like Augmented Clock or Goblin. Security Rover is interesting. The problem is he can't play anything alongside of it except for Eternium Rover. He can go Security Rover, attack into a 1/1, Eternium Rover, throw the Security Guard into the Spirit of Shark and Eternium Rover it, but Mega Devastator is just so much more clean.
Yeah, it's not panic mode just yet for purple. We're getting to that area though if Nalguidan is not is able to keep up the momentum and remove everything. More lackeys. More free cards. Oh boy.
Those were already free.
Free Shadow Steps. The value.
He could play almost his entire hand this turn.
Test Greymane.
He could Shadow Step it.
Yeah. I think it's a lot better than Harbinster Celestia. Yes!
Shadow Step it.
I mean, so what does he play from the Warrior class? He's
Wrench
played
Caliber.
Wrench Caliber.
That's it. Right? I mean, Wrench Caliber is like 16 damage. And so, of course, over the course of the whole game, 16 maximum damage.
Speaking of which,
He could Togwaggle Scheme Test Greymane.
I mean, he does eventually pick up other cards from the classes like Blink Fox and Hedge Clan Burglar. But that's eventually.
Yeah.
Okay, then.
Attack. He could brawl in this position. Doesn't feel great.
It'll feel good if he wins.
Defend the gates.
Well, he doesn't have to because he can still clear everything, but it does cost him like pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Hedge Clan Burglar. Oh man, now I'm like really wishing he had the test.
I think it was just too much tempo to give up.
Yeah, it's a 6/6 on the board. He doesn't need value. Shadow Form. Did any Death Rattle minions die this game?
Snip Snap.
Oh, that's good. That's really good. Wait, he magnetized it?
Oh yeah, it didn't die because it was magnetized on the Ziliax.
Oh!
So he can't play it.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. I mean, we saw it instantly and thought to ourselves, oh, Snip Snap died. I remember the Microbots. And Nalguidan thought the same thing. But when a minion is magnetized, it doesn't count as the original form of the minion. It works the same way with like Sap. If you magnetize the Snip Snap onto a Ziliax, if you sap it, you just get a Ziliax back. You don't get a Snip Snap and a Ziliax back.
Conjure a Rhino.
Yeah. Just a way to push additional 2 damage and can evolve it again. But 9 lives is likely to be dead the whole game. There's no Death Rattle minions at all in the deck outside of Snip Snap.
Yeah. Wind Fury Harpy, for those who look at that art and say, what new card is that? That's a 6 mana 4/5, just Wind Fury minion.
Okay.
That is a new
then.
card art I actually do think is really sweet. I do know that there's a little controversy these days, but I think that one is really cool.
Yeah, I like Deadly Shot too. It's like a big ballista.
Yeah, it's like Evil Cable Rat found like the ammo cart. It's like, phew.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a cool card. Life Drinker, man, Nalguidan is just outvaluing like purple like crazy. Has the ability to go for the Shadow Steps on the Evil Miscreant and generate tons of value.
Yeah, that 9 lives looking awful sad. He's got so much damage in hand, and he also has 2 bombs in the deck. The problem is it's just so hard for him to commit to the damage line like this early on. Because there's just still so much time that you need to execute the damage plan. You're not guaranteed to draw the bombs.
Oh, Ghost of Inquisitor. Stopping all of that stuff. Whoa! Hold on.
That is good.
Amazing.
And that shuts down Nalguidan's ability to go for the aggressive game plan because there's going to be so many taunts in the way for Leroy Jenkins to have to get through. And honestly, if you Warpath now, it's the exact same outcome except there's 1 less damage on your turning rover. So it's better to just zap, keep the health on your security rover, and leave the board as is. And Nalguidan gonna hope that this Blink Fox picks up something with Death Rattle.
All right.
Oh my goodness. That could pick up a lot of things with Death Rattle.
Yeah.
Oh man, purple.
You know what's funny? If he, you know, if he Shadow Step Test Greymane, you actually would be able to replay all of his road cards.
Yes, that's so funny. Because when you play Dr. Boom Mad Genius, it turns you into the warrior class.
That's right.
So Vendetta is almost always active. Test Greymane all of a sudden plays all the road cards that he played. Blink Fox and Hench Clan Burglar. Blink Fox will give you a... it'll still give you a warrior card, but Hench Clan Burglar will no longer be able to get you warrior cards and instead will be able to get you road cards.
Wow, that Vendetta was a nice pickup. Helps him clear off the Dr. Boom now. Oh, he's gonna use Leroy.
Well, Leroy has no downside right now.
It's fair. Properly sequencing this. Leroy 6 more into the deck. Purple's like, oh my goodness.
This is kind of a weird outcome.
Yeah, it's very much an all-in though.
It is, and it's kind of awkward to do with a security rover on board, especially considering that you have a 1/1, so he's kind of forced to shadow step this kobold.
Oh wow.
So now if he draws Leroy off the top, he has 14 damage, but it looks like he's just going to get rid of the security rover now.
If he was planning to do this, he could have stopped his 2/3 from coming out first. He could have played Leroy, shot the 2/2,
yeah,
then shadow stepped it and got past it. This
yeah.
2/3 spawning was.
It looked like he didn't decide the
yeah,
full outcome of
very
his
end.
play until the end.
Yeah.
Which it's better to do it then than to not do it at all, but... And Nalguidan, he did shuffle cards in, but he still has a A few bombs left in the deck now.
9 lives is so useless. Oh man. And another Leroy Jenkins. That's gonna wrap it up here, I think.
Might as well play both.
I guess so.
He's got a long way to go.
Is this even lethal? 6, 9, and your opponent's down to 12 life? It's very likely, or 11 life even.
Yeah, and he can actually kaboom first and then Warpath, so I'm pretty sure this is very close. All the boom mods would have to be very low damage. He'd have to like average less than 2 on each of these boom bot hits, because he has 3 boom bots and needs to deal 5 damage. So. Whoa! Well, he gets zap, and there's a bomb. That was the most
what a roller coaster.
Bizarre game of Hearthstone I've seen in a while, and like the outcomes were weird, yes, but just like even the gameplay, like the 9 lives, not realizing that Snip Snap was magnetized and didn't die.
Yeah.
Then picking up Dr. Boom, but it not mattering at all.
Yeah, and then he had like test opportunities to like drag out the game in value, which I think once Dr. Boom Mad Genius comes online, it's very difficult to win the pressure game. Even though he did have Leroy and Shadow Steps.
He had Togwaggle scheme, so
yeah,
he could have played a longer game.
He could have played a longer game too, and I feel like that. I understand that his hand was like giving him aggressive tools. I just think that there's a lot more merit to the value-oriented route, which is what your deck tries to do against slow decks.
Yeah, there's a reason why players choose to put in Togwaggle scheme into warrior countering secondary or tertiary decks. So
I mean, had he known, of course, if he picked up Dr. Boom himself, I'm sure that would have changed the course of the game. But such is life, and as a result, Purple is up 1-0. We're gonna take a break. When we come back, we're gonna see if Nalguidan can turn around for his buddy Race, or will Purple be a thorn in his side?
The shadows are rising again, darker than they've ever been. As evil descends from the skies, the world cries out, how will we survive? Out of the hall of explorers, and up from the dusty tombs, they grab their whips and fedoras. These legends of the past know exactly what to do. There might be magic monsters, mummies in the markets, and ancient mysticism. There should be scorching deserts, adventure, monster of narcissism. High stakes think annihilation, obliteration of civilization. Now is the time to be brave. Evil's come to enslave, but this league's gonna save the world.
My name is David Dog Cairo. I play for Team Liquid currently, and hopefully forever. If I had to be a breed of dog, I'd probably be a golden retriever. If I had to change my username to any other animal, what would I change my username to? Probably something cool like Cobra. Cobras are cool. My personal goals for the year, I haven't really set them, but it's more within streaming, not within competition. I do want to be competitive. That's actually why I accepted the Grandmaster spot. Otherwise, there would be really no incentive for me. I'd rather just stream. I just want to be better as a streamer and produce better content, because to me that's really important. There's a reason why I started getting popular on Twitch, and that was because I was very good at what I did in terms of like bringing entertainment to Hearthstone. I was like able to create really wonky decks and do well with them, as opposed to just, you know, make wonky decks and lose all the time, which is what most people do. There's a trick to it. The key to making a good ladder deck that's wonky is just beat the most popular classes. So a ton of Rogue on ladder, try to beat Rogue. Is there anyone that is my enemy in this division? Competitively, not really. No one's on my level, so.
I'm Facundo Pruso, more known as Nalguidan. My username is an Illidan reference. I used to play Warcraft 3 a lot. Illidan is my favorite character. Back in the days, I really liked watching RDU stream as well. After I saw him for the first time on some DreamHack tournament, and then I got to beat him on some online tournament finals. That was my first tournament win, my first prize win. That was a very key moment for me in Hearthstone. I think I'm pretty good at recognizing what decks are good and how to improve them. I like the Su playstyle. Some people think it's like broke back deck, but then you have a lot of things to master, and there is a lot of little things in that deck that, of course, you can draw 1, 2, 3, 4 and kill an opponent, but that's not gonna happen every game, and you need to know how to improve your odds. I don't know if other players already respect me or not. In my region, I think they do. I'm not sure about the other Grandmasters. This year, I really want to qualify for Global Finals. I quite didn't make it last year, so that's the main goal. I hear a lot of players say first season wasn't that important, but I think it really is. If you win the first season, you made it to Global Finals.
Purple versus Nalguidan, as we have a match that Purple would like to win, but it's pretty much for the cosmetic element of it. Tomorrow's match, Purple versus Race, will be a decider for third place.
Yes.
Will be a decider for third place, of course.
Yes.
Very interesting to see how everything is shaping up between the field, but in the end, we do have only 2 players remaining that's eligible for playoffs. In the meantime, let's talk a little bit more about game number 1 as we get ready for the next one. Is Nalguidan the king of interactions learned on the fly on a broadcast?
He would have to be. I feel like he has learned, and also we have learned of certain interactions with cards. And the magnetic one, Snipsap, I think, has been around long enough now to where, and just magnetic in general, to where that interaction should be.
It should be understood, because if you played like Mech Paladin or Mech Hunter, that actually still applies to the same concept, right? Because you, the reason why I bring up Mech Paladin is because the Kangor's Endless Army resurrects the mech, and you have to like basically anticipate like how your mech died and keep track of it. But Mech Hunter, this card goes into Mech Hunter, 9 lives, as a side deck. If you've played enough games of it, you recognize like that's how it works. If you magnetize Spider Bomb onto like the Mecharoo, you don't get both of those options in a 9 lives.
No.
You actually just get the Mecharoo. Our mistake was, of course, forgetting that he magnetized it. We just saw the microbots and assumed otherwise.
Yeah.
Coin Snip Snap. Purple was pushing this a lot when Snip Snap first came out, along with Zulaine and Firebat. They're like, this is just super sick. And now Nalguidan's like, well, can't answer that. Whoa! Ooh, guess he can. What? How did he do that?
No way!
How did he do that again?
No way!
How many cards are in the Warrior arsenal right now?
Nope. That's not supposed to happen.
Dude, what if he loses again anyway?
Dan, that's not supposed to happen.
Oh, so you're admitting this is a bug?
No, it's not a bug. It's just not supposed to happen.
That is how randomness works.
Job's done.
It's just very unlikely. The fact that he got a second Dr. Boone Mad Genius. What a true narcissist. Always making it about himself. Okay, now if he gets tests in some capacity, I think you should explore that option more. Because we say, what if you knew that you were going to get Dr. Boone Mad Genius and all your rogue cards all of a sudden become playable based off the test?
That's just insane, Dan. That's
Right,
like
TJ's still recovering from the reaction.
That's like 2 of the largest earthquakes in decades striking on back-to-back days.
Yeah, on similar magnitude scales. Wow, and Purple's gonna have Dr. Boom Genius on curve again too. This game is gonna be really interesting and weird. Because here's the thing. Nalguidan actually it doesn't have that many cards in hand. So Dr. Boom Genius isn't that great if you don't have many resources. It's just that he helps you accumulate more resources, which is nice.
Yeah, and if you think about it, maybe half the cards in Warrior wouldn't have an impact, a huge impact on this game either way.
Right.
So he would still be operating with the same amount of cards that he has in his hand in any other situation of the game. Dr. Boom is just this large, impactful card that does give you the benefit of being able to generate resources that you otherwise wouldn't have. So
Purple possibly contemplating the brawl here. I think if he plays Dynamatic, he doesn't want to have to 2-for-1 himself with the War Gear, because the Dynamatic gets eaten by the 5-5, and he has a Militia Commander afterwards. All he wants is not the War Gear, and it's the War Gear. But he does have Militia Commander. It's not the end of the world. What he's really afraid of is a Snip Snap follow-up. The Snip Snap follow-up means that he's dead. But no Snip Snap. So now Nalguidan has an opportunity to get a third Dr. Boom Magic.
Okay. Whew.
That's a good card, actually, because I think Nalguidan was really hoping to find more resources, and now he does. Waggle pick. You know, I'm actually starting to really think about some of the possibilities of Nalguidan's deck when he has Dr. Boom Mad Genius.
Yeah.
And how his hero powers line up with some of the cards coming up. And there might be some really interesting, weird moments. Ooh, Bobby. Based off Nalguidan's deck, because if he's playing things like Snip Snap and all his other stuff that has Rush with Dr. Boom Mad Genius, that's going to give Nalguidan a lot of power, but it also makes things like Waggle Pick a little bit more awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or potentially better, right? Like, what if you could Waggle Pick or Shadow Step the Snip Snap when you have Rush with Dr. Boom?
Yeah, true.
So you play Snip Snap 3 times, and then you Shadow Step the last copy of it, and you just get to play it over and over.
You could do that for 4 turns in a row, theoretically.
Right.
But Nalguidan recognized an ability to set up for a 2-turn lethal. If this 1/1 was removed and Purple were to just play normal hero power, then that would be exactly 16 damage from hand with the 2 Lures plus the swing of the Waggle Pick and the bounce effect. So,
yeah, Nalguidan trying to win even without the Dr. Boom Mad Genius, which is it's a very slow play.
Yeah, I
wonder if Nalguidan did this a little fast.
No, I think this is correct. Because if you play Leroy Jenkins, you have the possibility of 3 Leroy Jenkins. If you Shadow Step the Kobold Lackey, then you are to guarantee Leroy Jenkins on the Waggle Pick.
But then you could have also just played Leroy, trade the 1/1 to the 1/1, and then attack with the Waggle Pick. Guarantee it.
Yeah, I think you'd... yeah, I guess so. This is maximizing damage 100%.
It's 50-50 though. What if it bounced back on the Kobold Lackey? That's what I don't like about it.
Would you rather have 1 extra damage or a 50% chance to guarantee, or a
50% chance to lose 4 damage?
Yeah.
The EV is actually, if you just evaluate it across the 2 values, it's 4 damage versus the 1 damage. It's you actually come out behind.
Yeah.
On average.
It would have to be only a it'd have to be a 75% chance in order to that to be efficient. No, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Purple's like, all right, I know what time it is. Time to armor up. That being said, I mean, Nalguidan still has a lot of damage. Waggle Pig Leroy is still 20. Oh, but that blast shield just keeps making Nalguidan's target further and further away.
Yeah. I mean, in hand, Nalguidan has 26 damage. 8 from the Waggle Pick and 18 from 3 Leroys.
But that's not enough. 26 is not 27, DJ.
It's not quite enough. And if that's the case, he can start off with Evil Cable Rat, and he doesn't pick up something that's additional damage. Then he could go with Dr. Boom, but that might be too slow. And that's not additional damage.
If you Shadow Step, you can play the Waggle Pick and go face.
Choose soon.
So close.
And honestly, it's a good thing that Nalguidan hasn't played Dr. Mad Genius, because having 1 damage from his dagger up might be the difference.
Yes, it legitimately might be the difference.
I mean, on the other hand, Dr. Boom Mad Genius has a 40% chance to pick up damage.
Right, and also Nalguidan might pick up damage from the top of the deck.
Yep. Coppertail Imposter.
1 damage off lethal. Let's see if he goes for it.
I like going for no.
Oh, he actually creates a full board scenario too.
The problem is that by creating a full board scenario, he will have played the second Leroy and gone face with it, so there would be a minion on board to trade into to limit the board space.
You're right.
So while he can fill up the board, he also leaves a minion behind, which means that it kind of negates the effect of filling up the board. I thought about that for a second. I was like, well, if he fills up the board, then he can't Ziliax. But he could. He could trade in both the 2 of the 1/1s into the final Leroy, and then Ziliax onto the Omega Devastator. Any way to go face.
Then in that case, is it better to Coppertail Imposter to set it up?
But then it makes it awkward, because then you'd have to trade out your Coppertail Imposter to guarantee.
So you just play the Coppertail Imposter right here.
Oh, okay.
He's playing the Faithless Lackey as well. Oh, in case he gets a Charger. Okay. Armor Smith.
So he's saying if you had Ziliax, you'd beat me anyway. Doesn't matter if I play an additional minion.
Oh. He can get a Taunt Minion, though.
Or Ziliax.
Or, something that gives him armor. No. So that's going to do it looks like.
Yep.
The non-stop Waggle Pick Leroy train shut down this game number 2. And Nalguidan's going to be able to get it. He doesn't even play Dr. Boom. He should play Dr. Boom and then play Leroy. Please.
Yeah.
Nalguidan for the people.
I think Purple's going to concede before that happens.
Yeah, it's likely.
I give up.
That's going to do it. And Nalguidan gets on the board with the Game 2 victory. And you could see how crucial it was for him to get that extra bit of damage on the Shadow Step play for the Leroy Jenkins.
Yep.
Had he been off, maybe there was been another scenario where he could have not gotten that damage, but maybe not, because the Coppertail Imposter was also uncontested, which makes it difficult for Purple to kill. So
That would have made up exactly 6 damage.
would have made up the exactly 6.
But he could have been in a scenario. He would have had 1 less damage as well if he had gone with that play. Because he wouldn't have pushed.
Yeah, it's a 3 damage difference.
Yeah. So who knows what the payout would have been, but maybe it was a calculated risk. Maybe he just didn't realize that he could trade it in.
Okay.
We'll give him the benefit of the doubt, though, And as crazy as the Dr. Boom Mad Genius 2 games in a row from BlinkFox was.
Hey, didn't even need it.
Didn't even need it. Didn't even matter.
And the first game he lost with it. I think perhaps the fact is that it's just a hilarious thing, but it's not an actually game-defining thing. Purple with Dr. Boom Mad Genius in his opening hand with Town Crier. Now get out with the Coppertail Imposter looking for that war gear. Well, it's a second imposter.
Okay. Yeah, a decent early start for Purple. Town Crier is always good to have on 1, and then has Snip Step on 3 to start contesting board state.
The real key in the previous game also was Nalguidan drawing Vendetta off the top,
Yeah.
having the ability to answer 3-6. That can't be understated. And Nalguidan was like preemptively salty. Maybe not salty, but he was like preemptive, well played. It's like well played before he even saw what card he drew. You know, kind of like a, oh, good job, you won. It felt like that. Obviously, I could be misunderstanding the situation. Maybe it's like, wow, that was a well played moment. But
Now it's time.
this week's well played moment was coining out Snips. But, you know, it's one of those things where, you know, I think Nalguidan was just like, you got me. Oh, well. Except he got him. And now we have the opportunity to coin out this Coppertail Imposter. Go back-to-back, 2-time.
Yep, protects him against Militia Commander, which is very likely to be in hand after Town Crier.
Defend the gates.
Purple, I think, worried about the War Gear.
Yes.
If War Gear... Well, I guess War Gear can come out this turn, so...
Still a worrisome thing.
Yeah. Huh. What about the play is here? That the Snip Snap just presents so much of a problem. He could dagger up Fairy Dragon, trade over the Militia Commander. So there's like 2 targets that Purple wants to kill next turn. The 4-2 Coppertail Imposter and the 3-2 Fairy Dragon.
Yeah, this is actually a fairly interesting turn. I think I like Henge Clan Burglar just to set up your plays for the future turn. If you don't have the War Gear, but I guess in Nalguidan's mind, he just wants to go for the universally good play, which is having like a little bit more stats on the board.
Yep.
It's close. I think it's really close. I don't really blame him in this situation for going for Coppertail Imposter. Seems like the more straightforward play, and also plays off the possibility you draw a mech.
Ooh. Snippy snappy.
Right, and had he known that, he probably could have gone to Coppertail Imposter on 5 instead to make a Snip Snap good play. But in this instance, it's not very clean. He can still go for the Henge Clan Burger Vendetta play we were talking about before, though.
So many options.
It just doesn't line up well against anything.
It doesn't, and it didn't the previous turn either. But I thought that the Discover option plus the Vendetta option on the following turn would have been really good.
Yeah. Well, he can still play Snip Snap this turn because it's just pretty efficient. And then use his excess mana to dagger up and take out this 2-1. And this damage can even go face. I don't think there's any reason to trade over say Militia Commander. And the pressure is started to arise for Nalguidan. He's got Leroy in hand. Go for a finisher. Purple picks up a completely dead card in the matchup. And right now his hand is slim pickings. Brawl could go horribly, horribly wrong. He has nothing to shield slam, because even if he unrub shield slams, it doesn't touch the Coppertail Imposter. He could double trade double trade triple Warpath, but he'd still leave around the 2 microbots. Takes the most power off the board, but it would also leave him with nothing from his Snip Snap. He could go face and hope. Woo!
his Sniff Snap wins the battle. I mean, Purple was likely to win the brawl, but you can see on both players' faces, very stressed.
Yeah.
To find out what happens. Leroy Jenkins and Wagglepick once again find their way into the hand. If Nalguidan can pick up more damage with the Hedge Clan Burglar, he might be in business here. That's some damage.
Yeah, that's more damage. Oh, and a new card.
Yeah, new card. Radiance. 1 mana, restore 5 health to your hero. This is a new basic card for Priest.
Replaced Mind Blast?
I do believe so. Oh, you did read the patch notes.
Yeah. I've been loving the new Rise of the Mechs.
I do want to give a shout out to one of the nice features that's recently been implemented, which is the ability to reconnect to offline very easily with solo adventures and the offline connection. That was a very nice quality. Because I play like the Downward House on my Uber sometimes and I get disconnected because of bad service. But I sometimes forget about it and then 5 hours later I log in, it's the same exact spot where I just left. Good stuff. Purple gonna squeaky clean up this board. All nice with his Warpath.
Is that a Shadow Step? Whoo, doggy.
Damage.
I hope you like my invention.
Lots and lots of damage. Waggle picks.
So this is the same situation as last game, except instead of a Document Mad Genius, Nalguidan has a Power Blast.
Right, and I think like last game, he doesn't need the Power Blast.
Yep.
Waggle pick, Leroy, and Shadow Steps is already, what, 32 damage?
Yes, he has 26. Wait, no, you're right, because there's 4 Leroy's possibilities. Yeah. So in his hand right now, he has 42 damage.
Yeah, and Purple is just gonna die.
Yep, he needs to gain a 25 armor. And then some, because of all the additional points of damage that would be necessary.
Here's the thing. Purple could go for a Wrench Caliber play. And try and put Nalguidan into a situation where he can a few turns. I don't know if that's really that good, but when you put an equipped Waggle Pick and does nothing else and slams you in the face, I think you're kind of anticipating some Leroy action. And if Nalguidan once again bounces the Leroy, actually he has Leroy Shadow Step anyways. So it'd be 17. He's going for it.
Okay.
He's going for the Wrench Caliber play.
I like the aggressive play.
Alright.
So,
17 damage is what's in Nalguidan's hand right now.
Yeah, but unfortunately, this is actually working against Purple. Because now Nalguidan has a target to trade in this Novice Engineer and use Vendetta to clear it off, and then guarantee the Leroy from the Waggle Pick. Granted, Nalguidan had enough damage regardless.
Right, he had Shadow Step anyways. In the worst case scenario, you could have Vendetta his own 1/1.
But just in case Purple were to have like Dr. Mad Genius Blast Shield immediately, roll something else, then roll Blast Shield again with a shield block thrown in the middle. I mean, that's 26 armor gain.
Well, here's the thing about Purple's play, though, is that if he didn't have Vendetta, Nalguidan would be summoning Welch for Purple. If he plays Leroy again and Shadow Steps, he's giving Purple the extra damage. Okay, so he chooses not to.
Yeah. But this is a 1 bomb out now.
Right.
For Purple. There's only 2 in the deck after this first Caliber swing, so it's a 2 and 19, so it's very low odds.
But he also can armor up to 17. Oh, but he has double Shadow Step, so he can leave. He needs to hit Dr. Boom specifically into Blast Shield, because if he Leroy's in double Shadow Step, that's 18, 19 damage anyways.
Yeah, so Purple's trying to figure out damage breakpoints here. There's actually no Oh, there's no eviscerates in the deck, so he's just going for maximum armor gain. If he gets Splash Shield here, he's gonna be really, because that would be the difference. Okay, kaboom.
Bomb? Nope.
Nope.
That's it. Now he's
Wow.
gonna end it with triple Leroy and Shadow Steps. And like we said before, TJ, Pyroblast doesn't even matter. It's just the raw damage of the Rogue deck. Purple can't believe it. What year is this? That's gonna do it for this best of 3. Nalguidan improves to a 5 and 8, gets the win, gets some extra money, and helps his buddy Race. But we all knew that the match was gonna go down to the purple versus Race anyways on Sunday. But this sets up extra drama because they're tied in the series, so it could be one player who decisively has the better record.
Yeah, it's they're both currently at 7 and 6 since they both took losses today.
Yeah.
Yeah, it comes down to that final matchup tomorrow to see who gets that last playoff spot, which is I think how you'd want to see it. Because if they had gone in with a tie, it would have felt really bad for Purple because he would have done like everything he needed to in the last week. But Race would have had the head-to-head over him in that sense. Or if like Race had won earlier and then Purple beat him, it still wouldn't have mattered, which would have felt even worse if he wins the head-to-head, ties up the head-to-head record, but then Race would have won on the tiebreaker number 2. So this is, I think, how both players would have wanted it, where it does come down to that final match.
Yep. So then let's go ahead and check in with Nalguidan real quickly on his win. Nalguidan, are you there? Can you hear us?
Hi.
Hey, so going into this week, it seemed like you were playing for more than yourself, right? You wanted to like help Race and help your other buddies because you knew PNC qualified.
Yes. This week, I even told Race this week, if you want me to play some decks, just tell me and I will play it. I let him do it worth. I mean, of course, I want to win for me, but it's worth a lot more for him. So he was like, okay, you go Rogue, I go Warrior. So worst case, Purple doesn't get 2 good matchups because we won't face him. So yeah, I don't know how it's now. I think the winner of their match make it, right?
Yep.
Yeah, because they have a tied record. So you did your part, I guess.
What
did you call it?
I did my job.
Now it's up to Race.
Yeah. He can't blame you now. He can't blame you. All right. So now that you're kind of like finished with most of your season here, do you have any thoughts on Season 1 Grandmaster? We've kind of been asking all these other players and getting their insight. And I know that you had to juggle school, so it was difficult doing both. But just want to hear some of your insight on it.
Yes, as you said, well, the first kind of like the first 4 weeks, I put a lot of work in the Grandmaster League, but then this last month I was very busy. I couldn't keep up with practice and with university as well. So, well, I decided that for next season I will not attend classes 6 days a week because it's too much. So I will just go like 3 or 4 days and dedicate a bit more to Hearthstone. I overall don't think that my preparation for rounds or my gameplay was like a huge factor on my results, but of course everything has like an impact, right?
Yeah, it's a good way to look at it. Just being able to have those small improvements, but I'm sure you don't have to give up school entirely. But yeah, next season.
Yeah, no, of course not. But I want to do a bit less signatures and pay more attention to Grandmaster League. That is very important.
Fair enough.
So you go to class 6 days a week currently?
Yes.
Wow. Even when I was trying the hardest in university, I was capped at like 4 days a week, maybe 1 class on the 5th day.
I visit the cafeteria 6 times a week when I was living in school.
Yeah, the thing is, until last year, I'm in 3rd year of architecture.
Okay.
Until last year, I could keep up kinda with Hearthstone, streaming, and university. But this year it got like a lot more exigent. So I couldn't really.
Gotcha. When do you finish school like, for architecture? Or is that kind of like a long-term process?
it's 5 years, so I still have like this and 2 more best case.
Wow.
Gotcha. All right.
Wow.
So just kind of in the middle of it. Very stressful times.
Very cool, though.
Yeah.
Very cool.
It is cool, and definitely a lot more interesting in terms of like where you can lead your life after Hearthstone. But either way, thank you so much for joining us for a brief interview. Nalguidan, congrats on the win, and
Thank
good
you.
luck in your future matches.
Thanks. Maybe we talk tomorrow.
Yeah, let's talk tomorrow.
Let's
same
talk
time.
tomorrow. Same time, same place.